streetwear fashion brands have become the biggest and trendiest rising categories in gaming, I would say, because taking place on streaming platforms like Twitch or YouTube gaming.
Hello everyone, hello world of esports. We are here today with Chow. Thank you for, it's my pleasure to hear you today.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You just finished the panel.
Yeah.
And how was it?
You know, honestly, the energy coming from the panelists, I was mentioning a bit earlier that it really helped that we had time to bond. But also, I wanted to make sure that, because they had so much deep expertise, that we were able to pull that out from each of them. I think we hit the mark on that. And the one way I could tell was the engagement from the audience.
Yeah, I saw the questions.
Yes, and really well thought out questions. Yeah, so I hope the audience had it.
Are you really speaking on conferences and summit, or you're doing that?
Yeah, no, I speak a lot. I'm usually a speaker rather than a moderator. So there's a lot of different things that I advocate for. A lot of it is in the investing space. So I spend a lot of time talking about growing the entrepreneurial ecosystem, growing the startup ecosystem, and also how more funding, like angel investing, startup capital, needs to go to founders.
So I think that right now it's a good time so you can introduce yourself a little bit, to tell us more what you're doing at the moment, what are your goals, and how are you into esports?
Yes, okay, so, you know, so I wear many, like all of us, wear different hats. So I invest in many different startups. I am a parent. I sit on the school board of the American School of Dubai. And so, and I'm a business person. So I think with all those hats, I started kind of delving into the esports ecosystem. Because a few years back, a good friend was telling me he was going to build up a huge esports business. And so we would have lunch every so often, and he would tell me, do you know the potential of MENA is so untapped, we have so many wonderful players here, but we don't have training facilities, we don't do any manufacturing in the region, there's so much potential. So he would tell me about his plans. At the same time, my son is a gamer, and so passionate. So, you know, I thought it was really important to start going to conferences and seminar summits like this to learn. But one day I was sitting in one of these conferences and I realized most people, they don't have time, right? They're working, they don't have the time to listen to all these perspectives from people from all over the world. And I was like, someone needs to write a book about this. And then I was like, I think that's got to be me. I have to be that person to put it together. So the idea was, I'm not the subject matter expert, but all these other people are, so why don't I ask them to each write a chapter? So that's what the book is. It's comprised of 38 international experts, and they're from 5 continents, and they are incredibly diverse. 40% of the writers are female, and they are from all backgrounds in this ecosystem. So the book is called Changing the Game. Discover how esports and gaming are redefining business, careers, education, and the future. So I wanted people to get 2 things from the book. One is obviously the learnings from each chapter, and the book is about everything from esports investing, education in esports, women in esports. I've covered a really broad range of topics. Yes. And then each of the individuals, I wanted people to see what type of people are in this area, in this field. And it could be anyone. So this is my whole point. You can have any background and you can find gainful employment in this space. You don't need to just be a gamer.
Yeah, sure. And which field is the most interesting for you?
Okay, let me tell you some of the individuals that I am kind of blown away by. So one is Jeannie. Jeannie is a lawyer based in San Francisco. And of course her parents wanted her to be a lawyer growing up, but she was also really into gaming. And so today she has her own law firm, and the law firm specializes in immigration of esport players into the United So that's fabulous, right?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's fascinating. You can be a lawyer and you can love gaming and you can be doing really well.
And you're combining the two things in one and finding a solution.
But it's important, right? That people, school counselors, because they're the ones telling kids what professions they should go into, that they understand the richness and the career opportunities. So that's why also it's very future focused, the book.
Really interesting. And do you love reading? Because
I do love to read. I don't have enough time, but I love to read. Yes, yes.
And where are you finding all the inspiration to write and to live this kind of a life and go to conferences and speak and deliver the knowledge?
I feel that I'm very fortunate. So I'm Canadian, but I live in Dubai, and I've lived there for 16 years. And so Dubai is a place where, very similar to what's going on here in Korea, where a lot of thought leaders, a lot of events, anything happening in the world gets hosted there, right? So right now there's a huge water conference happening in the UAE. So if you're in that space, you're at that conference, no matter where you are in the world. Just before coming here, and it's happening still, the government held its first Dubai Metaverse Assembly. And it was gained 300 people, experts from around the world.
So Dubai is an event hub.
It is. It's an event hub, and if you're intellectually curious, and if you want to learn about these different sectors, the opportunity is there. So I'm fortunate geographically where I'm based.
So you can get all the knowledge from different fields from those events.
Right, and we need that, right? We need it to keep current. And again, it doesn't matter what we do as a profession. We need to stay on top of the next trend, the next thing happening.
Yes, and each day we are learning something new, definitely.
Yes.
What was the biggest challenge you had in your work experience?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think. So obviously, I worked for many years in corporate, and then kind of went out on my own. Actually, one of the panelists actually talked about this. She uses a quote that many of us use, and that was navigating. I wasn't savvy enough to know how to navigate the bureaucracy of a large corporation. So I tell people now that it's important to have a coach, a mentor, or a sponsor. But I was not savvy enough to think about going after one of those. But the most important in that scale, so a coach is someone that talks to you, a mentor is someone that talks with you, and a sponsor is someone that talks about you. And actually on that hierarchy, it's the sponsor that's the most important. So I love this one quote. You want people to talk about you, to say your name in a room full of opportunities when you're not there.
Yeah.
So that's what a sponsor does. But now I know, now I tell everyone, this is what you need to do when you're in a big corporation. But yeah, so I think that was a challenge for me, navigating large.
Yeah, the path to get to know all the circle and to get everything in one.
And I don't want to spend time talking about how hard it was as a woman, blah, blah, blah. But the reality was, it was tough, and I was in banking. So it was tough. It was tough being a woman in banking, yes.
And the transition after that from banking to another business?
Yes, and so I'm a huge proponent of going out on your own. If you have the luxury, or if you're passionate about an idea, go for it, okay? Because you can always go back to being employed.
Yeah.
You can always have a paycheck. It's a big risk. It's not for everyone, and it's a luxury. Not everyone can do it. But if you can, and maybe you find a co-founder or someone that shares so you can share the risk, it's worth just seeing if you have that ability. And if you like it, you might find that you like to have the regular paycheck every month.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's very good. But I think if you can navigate from corporate to striking out on your own, especially if you have a driving passion and an idea that you really feel
you set up the goals and you know what you want, definitely go for it, because in that way you'll achieve and you'll do it.
Yes, I love what you're saying. That focus, that razor sharp focus, needs to be there first.
What is your next challenge?
Well, that's a very good question. The book was just launched literally 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know.
And it's coincidental that I'm here because this was planned a long time ago. Not necessarily the next challenge, but where I need to devote my time now is kind of getting the word out about the book. And when I say that, I mean because I owe the 38 contributing authors so much, I want it for them. I want the spotlight on them. And so it will be spending a lot of time, in seminars, at events, and at schools, talking about the careers, the opportunities, maybe as investing, the opportunities in esports and gaming. So a lot of focus in the next year on that already.
I'm sure that book, and because it's like covering a lot of different fields, will help a lot of people to find their way and their paths, so they can go ahead and reach out any career.
And that is my hope. I would really, really hope that, because we talk about, and again, a panelist said earlier that 50% of careers have not yet been invented.
Yeah.
So then how do we, not forget about just the next generation, but how do we stay relevant? What are we supposed to be doing, to upskill ourselves, right?
Especially the esports world is really dynamic, so every day you have something new.
Yes.
Every day something is changing, upgrading, or going down. So you need, basically it's like that, so you need to be up to date with everything so you can exist and deliver the needed things.
No, and I think one of my interest areas, and I'm sure it's for yourself too, is the whole Web3 and the metaverse. So actually, if we talked about what is next on the horizon for me in terms of learning, it's delving more into that particular area. And I think it aligns very well with esports and gaming.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a really nice challenge because it's different somehow.
It is very different.
They're aligned, but it's different.
It is very different, and anyone that tells you they are an expert already in Web3, that is not true. Everyone is still learning. There's still so much to unpack.
Yeah.
And there's still so much that needs to be done on the regulatory side. Not just what more can be done.
Especially when we are talking about something new, that is in the process of developing.
It's still very new, very, it's at stage A, and also the panel today was really, hopefully helpful for marketers or C-suite individuals thinking about entering this space, right? How do we, as a brand, come into this space? For the metaverse, same. Why should I, as a company, be investing any budget into Web3 or the metaverse? So these are conversations that are taking place, but also perhaps as a business owner of a budget, you need to stay current to see how you can advocate for a budget.
Yes, definitely. And last but not least, what is your advice for everyone out there that are trying to get their right career and to achieve their goal?
Yes, okay, that's a fabulous question. So you probably also have heard the statistic that in our lifetime we have at least 7 careers. So I think what we don't have to worry about is, oh my gosh, I have to stay in this one career forever. That's not the case anymore, not the case. And if we are going to have 7 careers in our lifetime, then it's worth trying out different things. Putting on a new hat and seeing, is this me? And if it doesn't work out, that's fine, but then, find the next thing. So I think, definitely don't feel that whatever you study in university has to be what defines you, right? Go forward, we're always evolving. So not to feel that whatever you decide for a career that's the end.
So go ahead, if you don't like your career change it and try something new.
Yes, I think I just started talking about quiet quitting without realizing it. Without realizing it. Okay.
Thank you so much. It was really nice chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Anna.
And I hope that your book will be like really successful.
Thank you so much.
And you'll achieve your goal.
Thank you so much.